All right. It's 10 o'clock, and it's this time we'll call the special meeting of the Budget Board to order. Begin with roll call. Sheriff?
Tom Johnson, third, present.
Rick Warren.
Carrie Hudson for Mercer Treat.
Jason Lowe, District 1.
Paul Foster for Commissioner Miles Davison.
Butch Freeman?
Larry Stein.
Brian Mott.
Okay, we've got a quorum. Notice that this meeting was properly posted on May 15th. The next would be the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner, would you mind doing that?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is approval of the minutes from May 15th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Next, item number 2 is from District Number 1, Commissioner Lowe. Oh, hello, Joe.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good.
Thank you to the Budget Board for convening this morning to take care of this item. We had submitted this in time for your regularly scheduled meeting. However, due to a software glitch, something happened where it changed the date from 2025 to 2024, and it didn't make it on your agenda. So what we need to do is just to align our funds for the end of the year, and we're moving some money up into our travel account, $2,000.
Motion to approve item 2.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the item. Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, we do have one citizen that has signed up to participate. So, Ms. Bridget, our public defender.
Thank you, Bridget.
I was not able to be here at the last meeting. I know specifically I read some comments from Mr. Freeman about my comments to the jail trust when I called for the county to do something, saying that the jail needed more money and calling for everyone and anyone to get together. I will say in no way, shape, or form was that an attack on the budget board, and I didn't mention the budget board. I do feel that Oklahoma County Jail is in a dire situation right now. I just handed out, this is from Sunday. It basically goes through the pods in the jail, and the population was 1,582. And I want to explain a little bit about my public comments and plea for more money for the jail. So inmates are housed on 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 13. There are 4 pods on each of those floors. Only 2 pods are not in use, and that's currently because of an HVAC issue. And so if all of those pods were manned 24/7, and that is originally what was intended, and you'll see that there are around 60, 77, 40, 76 inmates in each pod. So if all of those pods were manned, there would be 26 officers working in those pods. On nights and weekends in the Oklahoma County Jail, there are 6 officers working in the jail. 6. So if someone is committing suicide on floor 13 and an officer is on the 2nd floor, there's no chance that officer can respond in a timely manner. They have to get to an elevator, wait on the elevator, get to the floor, call for a slider to be opened, get inside the slider, call for the other slider to be opened, and then they get to the pod. There's no way that person can make it. And so when I made that plea, it's really to be a voice for all the inmates there. I mean, we have people working in the jail, and if you have 6 officers, that's essentially each officer doing the job of 4 or 5 people. And so the current salary of $41,000, if it was a fully staffed jail, that might be enough.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. There were 150 arrests this weekend on nonviolent charges. There was a racing event, I guess, which is illegal, but it was a nonviolent offense, and I believe 150 kids were arrested and transported to the Oklahoma County Jail. You're saying we had 6 officers. How can we get them in and out in a timely manner when there's only 6 officers? I've gotten several calls from these young adults' parents, where they've been in jail for 4 days now. Have you heard about this? Have you had any concerns?
Absolutely. My time is up. May I respond
Yes.
and briefly continue? There were over 100 people arrested for that. Yes, a lot of these are high school kids who are now missing. And when we only have a certain number of officers to book all those in, yes, these are kids sitting in the county jail. There was also an arrest of 60 people on Saturday for unlawful assembly. I'm trying to look into the facts of that. But if we're talking about 200 people, yes, for that amount of officers, that is taking days. That is completely unacceptable, and that's unconstitutional when someone's posting your bond and you're staying there for hours afterwards. So yes, I have numerous concerns, and that's kind of why I was making a public plea. And again, not just for the budget board, for the entire county to find a solution to this. I had a letter that I received, and I'm just going to read a brief excerpt. Since I've been here, the things I've been exposed to mentally have scared me. I've since seen 5 overdoses, 3 deaths, of which I actually witnessed. No one should ever see a person you spoke to just a day before hanging from her bunk by a towel around her neck. I still see her face, even as I write you this letter. That's from a client, and she is now out of jail. But to get those letters, that's why I made that plea, because something needs done, because that's a death that, had we had the proper money amount of officers in that jail, maybe a life could have been saved. I have another one from a female who is housed in the Oklahoma County Jail. I'm a single mother of 2 children with special needs. Please move up my court date. My littlest is nonverbal autistic. He just turned 6, and all he knows is his mom put him on the school bus one day and never came back. My office received this letter one day after she was found dead in the county jail. Completely unacceptable. So my plea was just to the public, something needs done. We have not many people who want to work at that jail. I know in the past when the sheriff ran it, people wanted to be there because they had something to aspire to and a next move to make. But now we can't ask all these officers. I mean, a client saw this, and so officers are seeing this. I wouldn't take that job and get paid $41,000 to witness the things they've seen. And so I don't know what the answer is, but that's why I'm asking everyone for their help, because this is just a situation that is not okay.
And when you have 100 people at the jail, 100 kids arrested for a nonviolent offense, and basically city charges, wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Ticket and release, send them home, then you show up to court and litigate it. I just want you to expound on that a little bit more, on how dangerous that is for the other inmates, and also making sure that the jail is secure. With 6 people on the
Mr. Chairman, we're way out of public comment on this. We're talking about policy. We're talking about things that we certainly ought to have the district attorney's office here to represent the county. And we're talking about a far-reaching thing. This isn't somebody saying they don't like what happened in a pothole. I mean, we're talking about the substantial policies, issues that I think have meandered far from public comment.
I'd just like her to answer that last question.
I would also.
It's dangerous to put this many people together in holding cells, and you can have someone charged with murder in the 1st degree, and you can have someone that's been brought in for drag racing, and you have all these individuals crammed into one cell. That makes it dangerous. And then on top of that, if you don't have enough officers, people aren't able to go to the bathroom. People aren't able to make phone calls. You have violent offenders in with non-violent offenders. And obviously, the whole reason the jail was not built properly, it was 13 floors. It was a bad design, which is why we called for a new jail. But these are the things, throwing that many people in jail when they could just be ticketed, it does make need for more money. It does hurt our city. It does hurt taxpayers and all of those things. So did I fully answer your question?
Just a couple of comments. The thing that you just brought up, and I think the drag racing is a great example. Why do they have to be taken to the jail? Why, especially it's a city charge, right? Just as I believe you mentioned, Commissioner, the ticket and release. Is that not a possibility?
Yes, that is possible. Could you expound on that?
Yes, officers always have the authority, whether they can take someone to jail, whether they can write them a ticket. There is always that. And so what we're seeing is more and more people being brought to jail, unlawful assembly, drag racing. We even have very low-level misdemeanor offenses who are nonviolent, and they're all being taken to jail. So when I made that call for help, it's really to law enforcement and everyone. It's the same situation that we're dealing with behavioral health. If someone has been in crisis and we know they have mental health issues, and they make contact with law enforcement, there are options to take them to the crisis center rather than to take them to the county jail. And so in addition, those kids could be placed with people who have mental health illness, who are arrested on low nonviolent offenses too. And so we have all these people crammed into one, and it does make a dangerous situation. And I think the last thing is that any of us want is more deaths or more harm or people getting in fights, especially to kids who are 18 years old being put in county jail for that. And it's especially harmful when we don't have enough officers, because then they're waiting in there for days and can miss school, and they're still waiting to get out because there's not enough officers for release. And that comes back to the money issue, and people are not working there because of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Just one comment that I've got is, and it kind of goes along with what I said before, you know, it would be great if we lived in a utopia where we have a pot of money that never goes dry. We don't. I remind us all again that when this undertaking started, and with the jail trust and everything, there was $0 that went with all of those responsibilities. Nothing's changed. There are still $0. Now, there is a 7 million plus request that is on the watch list that will be considered in more detail in coming in September. In the meantime, and you ask for the community support on this, until we find a permanent funding source, it's going to be hard for anything to change over there. It's again, every dollar that is taken out, there's only one county general fund. And every dollar that comes out of that's a dollar that could have been spent for another equally important item. So it just, I could not agree with you more. It's got to be solved. And I think that's what my source of frustration was, is it can't be solved with us talking to each other without help. And I would like, and Sheriff, I'd like your comment on this. My gosh, is anyone working with the city of Oklahoma City or commissioner that you know of? Because it doesn't make sense to me that we load up the jail with speeders.
I guess in what capacity are you talking about? Contractually, it was Joe Albaugh, who's the former chairman. He would speak to them about contracts and things of that nature. It really turned over to Timmons when it came to anything operationally. He spoke with Chief Ron Basie about things. From what I have gathered, the issue the other day with the mass arrests and not enough staffing there was lack of communication on both sides. From what I've heard, one side didn't tell the other that they were running an operation and to be prepared for it. That's all I know about it.
And I think things like this help, because I don't think people in the community, and sometimes
Right.
even law enforcement, doesn't understand the issues within the jail. And so this helps. And whether it's Oklahoma City, whether it's who, I don't expect the county to take everything on itself. It's just an important conversation to have. And so the public's educated on the issues and how much help we have. I think it's going to take a lot of people to solve and fix the issue. Thank you.
You're still my favorite.
And you're obviously very loved.
Do we have any other comments? Hearing none. Board comments, starting with the sheriff.
Sheriff's Office would like to thank Rick Warren for allowing us to store some fingerprint cards over in his unit. That was a very big help as we transitioned out to Spencer, so our building can be completed while it's going through the renovation process. So thank you, sir.
That is very nice. I do not recall in my many years here, Rick Warren ever getting a thanks before. So well done. Thank you, Sheriff. Mr. Warren?
I'd like to mention the Treat family. They have a death in their family, and Greg's father passed away, and we need to remember him in our prayers.
Yes, ditto. Just big prayers for Marissa and her family this week.
No comment.
I'd just like to thank Ms. Biffle for her comments today, very enlightening.
I have no comment.
Nothing.
Okay, in that case, is there a motion to adjourn? Got a motion second. We are adjourned.